This module is going to cover a firm's USP or unique selling proposition. I will define USP, explain why it's important for a firm to have one, give examples, and discuss how to develop one. The concept of a USP was developed by Rosser Reeves at Ted Bates Advertising Agency in the 1940s. The concept was designed for advertising campaigns so that they made unique propositions to customers to convince them to switch brands. Rosser Reeves listed 3 requirements for a USP. First, each advertisement must make a proposition to the consumer, not just words, product puffery, or show window advertising. Each advertisement must say to each viewer, "Buy this product for this specific benefit." Second, the proposition must be one the competition cannot or does not offer. It must be unique. And finally, the proposition must be strong enough to move the masses, i.e., attract new customers. Before proceeding, let's review an example from Ted Bates in the 1940s, M&M's candy. To help put it in context, in the 1940s, candy was stored in grocery stores and convenience stores at room temperature. However, back then, there was no or very little air conditioning. In the summer, candy became soft and melted when the consumer tried to eat it. M&M's had sugar coating, which kept it from melting even in the warm stores. The campaign Ted Bates Advertising came up with was, "M&M's melts in your mouth, not your hand." The USP is that your hands do not become messy when eating M&M's in the summer. May seem like a small, relatively unimportant difference today, but it was a major discriminator between M&M's and other candies. M&M's has become a very successful candy brand, as you know. Well, let's stop and ask the question, why is a USP so important? As a famous marketing professor at Harvard, Ted Levitt, said, "Differentiation is one of the most important tactical and strategic activities in which companies must constantly engage." A USP is particularly important for an entrepreneur because the firm's products and or services need to stand out in order to gain sales, often from consumers or customers switching from other products or services. Let's look at some products and you indicate whether you think they have a USP. Federal Express, Ivory Soap, iPhone when it was introduced, and Whole Foods. All of these products are differentiated and have a USP. That has led to their success. Federal Express's USP was absolutely positively overnight. Ivory Soap's USP was 99 and 44 100% pure. It also floated, making it easy to find in a bathtub. The benefit of 99 and 44 100% pure differentiated from other manufactured soaps which lacked purity and could be caustic, causing skin problems. The iPhone was ease of use. In Whole Foods, USP is that it offers wholesome organic food which consumers perceive as healthier. Of course, we can name thousands of products in the market that have little differentiation, and some of which are successful. One that comes to mind is United Airlines, who is bringing back an old campaign, "Fly the Friendly Skies." Well, here's a question for you. Is this a USP? Well, let's evaluate it on the requirements Rosser Reeves listed for a USP. First, each advertisement must make a proposition to the consumer and must say to each viewer, "Buy this product for this specific benefit." Well, do flyers want to fly a friendly, service-oriented airlines? The answer is clearly yes. Second, the proposition must be one the competition cannot or does not offer. It must be unique. Do United's competitors also offer friendly staff? Yes, it is not a unique offering. And finally, the proposition must be strong enough to move the masses, i.e. attract new customers. Would consumers change airlines because it has friendly, service-oriented staff? Some definitely would. But here's the problem with the campaign. Not only must the USP have these 3 characteristics, but the firm must, I'm going to emphasize must, deliver on this promise. And this is where United fails. United cannot deliver on the promise of friendly skies. In fact, its service is very poor, and its service is the lowest rated of any major airline in 2012. United Airlines is successful, and you should be asking, doesn't that in and of itself indicate it has a USP? No. Just because a firm is large does not mean it has a USP. Mergers, regulation, and scale economies may make the airline or business successful, but it is vulnerable if it does not have a USP. Just look at General Motors. It was the largest car company in the world, but had to be bailed out by the U.S. government in 2007-2008. A&P was the largest food company in the 1960s, but had no USP. Sears was a very large and successful retailer in the 1960s and is a mere shadow of itself. Large may lead to short-term success, but a USP can keep the firm viable over the long run. Look at Apple versus Dell or Nokia. It has continued to succeed while the others have had difficult times and have been losing market share. Hopefully you see the importance of a USP, but as United Airlines shows, there are large companies which do not have one. However, for entrepreneurs, a USP is critical because startups need to capture competitors' customers. To do so requires something that allows the firm's product or service to stand out in the consumer or customer's mind. Without a USP, the entrepreneur's product or service might gain sales, but the odds are much higher if the product has a USP. Let me quickly summarize the key lessons for you. The key requirements for an entrepreneur are: create a product or service that is differentiated on a key benefit consumers demand. Deliver on the benefit so that customers recognize the product or service's key point of difference. All of this is easy to say, but obviously it's very difficult to do. But if you can do it, you will very likely win in the marketplace.